how big her beaver is. I really don't, but...
Hello. You know, when I watch videos like Josh and Mama, they remind me a lot of myself because I've done a lot of the things that they do. And when I see people in the comments say that they're making this stuff up or stuff up, they're making this stuff up.
I know they ain't because the ain't. That's a word, ain't.
I know they're not because I've done most of them. Okay? I'm just saying. The one I just watched is probably one of the funniest ones. I think they were making an orange pound cake, or that's what it was supposed to be. First of all, can we discuss the comments that they get? Like this lady told them they peeled the oranges wrong. Ma'am, just because they don't peel the orange like you peel the orange don't mean they did it wrong. They still got the orange out of the peeling, okay? Regardless of whether they did it like you wanted them to. But that's okay because all of them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of negative comments they get just makes them more and more money. So you're only helping them. Two, one lady told them they had the wrong kind of pan. It's still cooked. See, that's the stuff I don't understand. They told them to get a springform pan, and it was a springform pan. So I don't understand how it could be the wrong one. See, that's the kind of thing I don't know. So I'd probably get the wrong one. But the thing they did in this video that is so me, y'all just gonna have to go watch it. But I'm gonna tell you what happened to me, okay? One time, long time ago, I was living in my townhome, okay? And I had this really nice blender. I had a Vitamix blender. So I was told that the Vitamix, you can put stuff in it and you can just leave it going and that it will actually heat the food up. Like you can make soup in a Vitamix because it will heat up as it's spinning. Okay? So it did not dawn on me that perhaps maybe you shouldn't put hot food in the blender because in my mind, if it heated the food up, then you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I was making butternut squash soup. Now, I love butternut squash soup, okay? I had cooked down the butternut squash, got it all soft, right? And then I put it in my Vitamix to blend it, to make it a soupy texture, consistency. That's the word I'm looking for, a consistency. You want the soup consistency. So, yeah, what I didn't know was when you put hot things in a blender and you put the cap on the blender and you turn it on, maybe that's science. Maybe that's physics. Maybe that's just common sense. I don't know. But when I tell y'all that butternut squash that was very hot when I put it in the blender, when I tell you it shot out the top of that blender, the lid popped off, butternut squash went flying. I had orange butternut squash dripping from the ceiling. Thankfully, I didn't get burned because I was over here. I just hit go and I walked over here to where I was washing dishes because this was in my townhome and the Vitamix was over there and the sink was over here, So thankfully, I wasn't standing right there because that would have probably had a different outcome because I'd have probably got burned. But I didn't. However, Do you know how long I found butternut squash in the crevices of places in my kitchen? A long time. I mean, like, I don't dust the top of my uh, door frames all the time. I mean, I might go by with one of them Swiffers every now and then, but it's not like I'm getting up there all the time and wiping it down real good. But I was going to paint the trim on that window because, well, termites decided to build in my ceiling right there, so they had to take the trim off or from around that window and kill the little things and patch up the wall and all that stuff. So anyway, I was going to paint the trim, and I got up there to wipe it off because, before you slap some paint on it, you want to make sure that there's no dust, unless you just want to paint the dust in with, dust in to paint the dust. It just, whatever, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but there was still butternut squash on top of that windowsill when I went to wipe it off. So Josh and Mama's video today reminded me very much of that moment in my life when butternut squash flew out all over my kitchen. And also, I don't know that I peel oranges correctly either. If there is a certain way you're supposed to peel them, I mean, I usually cut them in half and then cut them and then I peel, off. But she just stuck her finger in and peeled it off. I don't understand why does it matter? As long as you have the same results, what does it matter how we got there? You know what I'm saying? Now, perhaps your way is easier. And perhaps instead of saying you did it wrong, you could say, it would be easier if you sliced it in half or you quartered it or whatever. But to tell someone they did something wrong and they got the same result as you, that's kind of weird, don't you think? Anyway, I went to my sister's today with my dad, and we had a grand old time. And my sister, well, we went upstairs and we went through some stuff. I don't really know what we were doing up there. I think we were looking for something. I don't know. But then we went downstairs and, well, she was asking me, she's got these deer, like elk deer, Christmas elk deer, and they got big old elky horns on them. And she was asking me, she was like, I don't know how to store them because I can't put them in a tote because their elky horns will break off. And I said, well, do you have like a shelf down there? Do you have just a shelf with nothing on it? Or, whatever. So anyway, we went down to the basement and I said, well, you could take these totes off the shelf and put them on the floor and then put those, because they are pretty big elk statues. I said you could put, slide them in a plastic bag or something and just set them on the shelf. And that way nothing is going to break off their little elky horns. And anyway, we got into all that. And then she showed me where she was down there one day and wiped something and found remnants of a snake. And I said, well, isn't that fun? And then she took me outside and showed me where the beaver had chewed down her tree. And I'll include the picture. I took pictures of where the beaver ate her tree. I don't reckon I have ever seen a beaver in real life because I don't live near water, but she does. And yeah, she said the beaver was getting in her gutter and crawling up the gutter, and she could hear it from in her bedroom. I was like, how small is this beaver, or how big is your gutter, ma'am? I mean, maybe that's a personal question, but... You see? I mean... That's not what I meant. Oh, God. Anyway, I don't know how big her beaver is. I really don't, but... Anyway, it ate her tree. This is how you know I didn't plan it. Oh, my Lord. Help me, Jesus. Whew. Anyway, we had a great day, and I just followed her around and tried to put stuff up for her or something. I said, I wish I could just come up here and stay a week, and we could get all this stuff done, but then she wanted me to cut off this thing in this other room, and I said, I took a picture of it, and I looked it up on Google. I said, well, Google says we can't cut it off unless you cut it off at the fuse box first. It was some kind of, I don't know, timer for a light or something. Anyway, basically it said don't touch it. And then we were trying to figure out which fuse went to it. And I was reading all the things, and I said, well, I mean, it says here, dock side lamp 2, but on the other side it says iron. So apparently your ironing board is, I guess there's a certain plug for your ironing board. I guess she irons in the same place. And apparently it goes to dock side lamp 2. But I don't want to turn it off, because what if it breaks your ironing board plug? I don't know. I don't suggest we do it. I suggest we just leave it like it is. And let the beaver take care of it. Anyway. Okay, well, that was fun, wasn't it? I don't want to know how big your beaver is, okay? I really don't.
Penny, Penny, Penny. Oh, she's awake! Penny, 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 Penny. Okay.
Anyway, there's Penny. There's proof of life, so she's still alive. She's alive! Anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, I love you. Jesus loves you. We hope he's coming back soon, because people be crazy. I'll talk to you on the next one, okay? Toodles, my noodles, and all. Toodles, my noodles, and stay silly. Stay silly. I'll talk to you on the next one. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Okay, bye.